Hey guys, welcome along to a brand new episode of Rural New Zealand. I'm your host, Gordon Findlater. Well, on this edition of Rural New Zealand, we go Claybird shooting. We travel to Waimate to meet a man who's taken over the running of the family farm. And we're in Oxford for the 46th edition of the annual Golden Fleece competition. But first up, we head out to sea. Tomo from Kaikoura Fishing Tours reckoned that he could help us catch a big feed of grouper. So naturally, we decided to take him up on his offer.
Hey bro, how you doing?
Good. Should we go catch some fish?
That's it mate, slime on.
We couldn't have asked for a better day as we departed from South Bay on a still sunny morning. First on the agenda was grouper, which had us heading about 8 kilometres offshore for a fishing rod wrestling match. After one unsuccessful run, we moved a few metres, the lines went back down, and within minutes, she was all on. While you can see there's plenty of action on the rod, the job is made a whole lot easier thanks to some technological advancements in the rod, with a small but effective motor doing the reeling for you, allowing our new friend Dino to have a casual chat while his dinner was getting closer by the second. How big can they get at here?
Oh, I've heard them get to 45. Tomo had a 30 last month, but I've only seen 18s, two 18s being brought on, and there's blue nose as well, which is of the same school of fish, but yeah, they are the same sort of size.
What, you've only got 14 metres left, but how would you be feeling right now if you had to reel that in?
Probably dead. Hey? Be like a gym workout when you never go to the gym, I guess.
After pulling in 2 grouper of my own, I was then told about an interesting tradition. Apparently tradition is, first grouper, you got to eat the heart. She's still beating. Does he chew it or just straight down?
That's feral.
While I opted for the chewing technique, our friend Renee played it smarter and went straight in for the swallow. After the more than successful grouper run, we pulled out the more traditional rods to get some blue cod and perch. Meanwhile, some of us got oriental and indulged in some sashimi.
Yeah, we have a bit of a taste every now and again. Don't get it much fresher than this. Got a sweet chilli, soy, wasabi. Give it a bit of a kick.
Can tell you it certainly tastes better than grouper heart.
You got sucked in on that one, didn't you?
While the team went about pulling in some cod, I took the opportunity to have a chat with Tomo while we whipped up some bacon buddies. So, well, how long have you been doing fishing tours?
Be 10 years now. Yeah, 10 years. I started off just crew member for a fella, and then it was only a couple of days later started running the boat for him. It's good, mate. You meet a lot of interesting characters. You see some pretty interesting sights. The day on the water is always different. You know, the conditions are always changing. Trying to catch the fish also, because some days it's easy, and other days, you know, you've got to actually work quite hard to find them.
I don't think we could have asked for a better day. It's
no, mate, we've got a
pretty flat and a good day's fishing.
Nice and flat, you know. We've got some, still got some good fish coming up. Nice cod, a few perch and that. They're pretty good eating as well.
Obviously, some good grouper today. I mean, how hard is it to catch that out here?
It can be hit and miss. Like, we've got a pretty good strike rate up there, but certain times of the year, you know, they're going through their cycle. August, September, it's not that good to go and chase them. But yeah, we normally get a good feed, eh? But it's always about getting a feed, not about going out and coming back with your limit. You know, we've had a few clients that want to come out and just carry on fishing and fishing and fishing. But at the end of the day, if you do that, there'll be nothing left. you've got to sort of fish for the future a wee bit.
Obviously, people come from overseas, but how lucky are we as New Zealanders to have this sort of thing right on our doorstep?
We've got it so good here. You're hunting, fishing. Kaikoura is a bit of a luxury, really. You get a lot of people comment here, especially in winter when they're looking, back up at the mountains covered in snow. It's quite picturesque, really. And the abundance of seafood and wildlife around here, it's so handy. Like, we don't have to travel for 3 or 4 hours to get good fishing. 10, 15 minutes. After that, you can be into some pretty good fish. No, it's gold. I've travelled overseas a fair bit, around Australia and Papua New Guinea and so forth. And coming back here, you realise how lucky you have got it.
You're off the boat, you got your catch. What can people do with the fish?
They can either take it back to their accommodation, but a lot of the accommodation providers don't like customers cooking crayfish in their jug, which has happened a few times. So we normally recommend customers to a restaurant in town. They'll cook it up for around $15, $20 per person. And we're finding the feedback off that's really good. The hotel owners are happy because they're not getting their rooms covered in fish and cray, and the customers getting very good service, good food, and it's just part of the package, really.
There's one thing I've got to ask you, 0800 to hook up. Every phone call you get, is it about fishing?
There's been a few sort of after 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I had a deal with my partner. I said, if you can find a better number within 48 hours, because that's all I had to hold the number, I'll go with that one. She didn't find one, so 0800 to hook up it is. And that's to hook up with fishing, by the way. Lunch is almost ready, I think.
Perfect. There's something really satisfying about a bacon buddy when you're a few k's out to sea. After our feed, it was time to head back to shore, and it would be rude not to stop by the cray pots on the way back in. The journey back was made even more special with a school of dolphins stopping by to say hello on our way into South Bay. And as we docked, it's fair to say that after just a few hours on the water, we had got ourselves a nice wee haul.
Good catch, mate. Good catch. You guys did well, eh? You listened to what I said? We had the A-team here. They did pretty good too. No, it was well worth going. It's not always like that, but most of the time, like I said, we come back with a good feeder.
From there, it was back onto land to venture into Kaikoura. We took Tomo's advice from earlier and paid a visit to Aroma's, where the chefs were more than happy to cook up the day's catch for us. Well, I think it's fair to say the team here has done a pretty awesome job with the food. I think it's time to tuck in, although I don't even know where to begin. And you might have noticed there the guy's cutting out the cheeks on the groper. If you ever get a chance, have a taste. Absolutely delicious. Well, stay with us after the break. We're in Oxford for the Golden Fleece competition. Welcome back to the show. Well, for the past 46 years, the Royal Agricultural Society of New Zealand has conducted the National Golden Fleece exhibition. The competition aims to recognise top quality fleeces from throughout the country. This year's edition was held in Oxford, and we decided to check it out. The Oxford A&P Showgrounds played host to some of the movers and shakers in the New Zealand wool industry with the Golden Fleece exhibition, a showcase of the country's finest.
Oh, it's really put us on the map. Yes, we've got a lot of fleeces from throughout the country, mainly the South Island, but yeah, they're ranging from Fielding right down to Invercargill, so it's pretty special to have it here in Oxford.
People are really passionate about their fleeces. It may sound funny because they are sort of inanimate objects as opposed to live and that sort of thing, but they're really passionate about it, and it's just grown in strength to strength. It really has.
The fleeces that have made it to the exhibition have to be the epitome of the local A&P show fleece competitions, while some make it directly from the farm on the recommendation of a wool broker. It's then down to the judges to determine the best in the country.
I was looking for a well-structured fleece, something that's got a lot of character about it. That means the crimp in the wool has to be nice and even and defined, and he's looking for lots of weight, something that's got nice colour. There's a number of attributes that are important for a fleece in this sort of competition. So the fleeces that are here are generally pretty good. So just trying to cut the poorer ones from the better ones. Really, it's a pretty difficult task. There's some very, very good wools here from Central Otago, and those are, they do produce very good wools because of their climate. They're extremely cold in the winter and nice and warm in the summer, and that helps. From the strong wool side of things, which is what I was judging here, not really. It's right across the board. There's some very good wools here from the North Island. In fact, the North Island has won the strong wool fleece, and some good ones from the south as well.
What's the competition like between those top fleece producers?
Oh, it's pretty stern. Pretty stern. There's some people here today that have won this competition several times, and they like to come back and compare their wools with other wools, which is very, very good to see them do that. These guys also go along to the wool sales and they look at over the fence at the neighbours, see how they're going and compare their fleece. And here in this competition, they're pretty critical of the judges, I can tell you.
One of those repeat winners is Armidale stud farmer Alan Patterson, who has been a mainstay of the competition for the majority of its 46-year history, having been named the Golden Fleece's Fine Fleece Merino champion a whopping 10 times.
My father was first into it, and we've always been interested in breeding quality wools and A&P competitions and everything like that, so it's just been a natural progression to try and show excellence off, really.
While 2016 wasn't his year, Alan's drive for success is sure to have him back on the winners list in the years to come.
We enter these things to win. It's all about if you're going to enter, you enter to win. We want to advertise ourselves and our stud as growing a premium quality type animal. This year we've got several firsts here. We've missed out on the top by just a little bit, and it's actually great to see someone new on the name thing there. Martin Murray from Tekapo, Maryburn, that's won the competition, and also with a Hogget fleece, which is quite a really great effort to be able to done. It's probably never been done with a merino Hogget before.
New technology and innovation is allowing us to consistently find new uses for wool. However, the exhibition also had on display more traditional garments, with the Oxford Spinning Club getting their hands on product from some of the country's finest breeders.
We had donated fleece from some of the breeders and have actually spent the year making articles out of that fleece so we could give another presentation this year. You definitely look for quality in the fleece for a start, and fleece suitable for whatever you're wanting to make. Like if you want to do fine work for baby wear, you'd probably look to merino or Polworth. And then if you want outdoor wear, you're looking for the stronger fleeces, like Rodney. And in between you have the Corridale, and that is a really nice fleece to use as well. So really you choose the fleece for the end product.
And while the exhibition was all about finding the country's finest fleeces, New Zealand as a whole is still doing all it can to set the example on the world stage.
New Zealand wool is renowned in the world as being some of the best coloured wool. So by saying that I mean the whitest wool, and that's always been recognised as a major attribute from New Zealand, and particularly at the moment where our sheep flock's reduced, the quality is probably better than it has been for a number of years, and so that gives a really good advantage, particularly in the carpet industry, particularly because those wools that have to take a range of dyes and they're well grown. We have good grass growth here, which gives them a good length of fibre. On the fine wool side of things, our fine wools are probably some of the very best as well, and they compete with the big guys like Australia on a very even basis. So yeah, we are renowned as a good place to buy wool from.
Good old New Zealand wool, eh? You can't beat it. Well, we're off to mid-Canterbury now to meet farmer Graham, who with the help of new hearing aid technology from Maryvale Hearing Clinic, took us claybird shooting. A keen shooter, Graham recently got his hands on new hearing aid technology, which allows him to pick up on high-pitched frequencies he would otherwise struggle to hear, while they also work on hearing protection around the gun.
I find them very, very good, because when you've got earmuffs on you can't hear anybody, but when you've got these in you can just talk normally and hear everyone's conversation, and as soon as there's a loud noise they just shut the noise down, just as though you have got earmuffs on. And from a safety prospect, safety side of things, it does help considerably if you can hear what's going on around you when you're shooting.
Obviously around the farm, noise must become an issue as well.
Absolutely, yes. Well, when we first drove tractors, when I just left school, I never had a cab on, no one worried about the exhaust. And that'd give hearing, a hard time, but now we wear hearing protection, but that's just too late for me really. And duck shooting would leave you with a real headache for days. And now I'm sure it's not going to be a problem.
I thought it was about time to see Graham's new gear in action, so after a quick run over the clay thrower, we got into it.
Would you like to have a shot?
Pardon?
Like to have a shot.
So that's the only trouble with these, I have to take them off to talk to you.
That's right, yes.
After a few attempts, Graham showed off an array of ammunition and upgraded me to steel rounds, which proved to pack a punch.
Oh yeah, feel that one.
Unlike me having to go for traditional earmuffs, Graham is enjoying the new hearing aids.
It's certainly even better than earmuffs. The noise is not the same as with earmuffs, and I'm quite pleased with them.
And I mean, obviously there's that cancelling out, but I mean, how much do you notice them working as a hearing aid as well? Like, you've got me the other side of the hay there, calling ready.
No problem at all, I can hear perfectly. And if I am having a bit of a problem, there is a volume button on them that you can actually turn them up. So you can increase the volume on them, which is quite a good thing as well. They're basically manufactured for shooting. And for recreational shooting, absolutely ideal, I think.
How do you think I went for, I wouldn't say I'm a first timer because I've done it once before, but...
Well, I thought that was very good actually, you're shooting really well.
Well, there's more misses than makes though.
Oh no, that's very good.
It's a satisfying feeling though, isn't it, seeing that clay go flying?
Yes. There's a lot of people that start shooting would miss most of them, and I think you did very well.
And while I did only make probably about 50% of my targets, Graham reckoned it wasn't a bad effort for a rookie. Well, stay with us after the break. We're off to Waimate to visit a sheep and beef farm. Welcome back to the show. Well, after some travel, Dan Studham returned to the family farm just out of Waimate 10 years ago. We caught up with him to see how the primary ITO's Diploma in Agribusiness Management is helping him run the operation. Dan Studham operates his family-owned farm just out of Waimate, which winters around 4,500 sheep and beef units, while also grazing some dairy heifers. Originally studying commerce at Otago University, Dan decided he needed something more specialised after returning to the farm, deciding to complete the Agribusiness Management Diploma through the primary ITO.
All the modules and all the work you do, you could actually base it around your own farm. So at the end of the day, you had stuff that you could apply to your own business. It was really helpful for producing and giving you the skills to produce plans, analyse data, and what data to analyse and collect, how to execute those plans, how to manage your finances through your budgeting, and get an understanding of your returns on your capital and your equity. A good example would be, I suppose, the last 2 years we've had pretty challenging years with the weather, and so it's been hard to hit a lot of your production goals, and so that affects your finances. Having the skills to analyse your financial position alongside your production position gives you the ability to actually understand where you're incurring cost or losses and why that's happening, and then you can set about doing things to try and rectify those problems that you've had. Equally, it works the other way. When you're having good times, you can see why you've had a good result in a certain area.
And while he's not a big fan of homework, Dan loved the element of being able to apply the bookwork to his own business.
There was a fair bit of homework you had to do, but it wasn't. It was quite enjoyable, a lot of it, because you're really getting a lot out of it and you're applying it to your own business, so it was very relevant stuff.
And Dan is now looking to continue to use the financial knowledge gained to help grow the operation on the family farm.
The cows are the main mob are Angus Hereford Cross. We run a small herd of Hereford cows that we buy replacements in for to breed the Angus Hereford Cross cows. And we run a Simmental bull over the Angus Hereford Cross to get that hybrid figure and growth rate. The ewes are all Romney. Been sourcing genetics from North Island, Wairarapa Romneys. They're pretty high performance. There's some pretty challenging country on this farm. It's quite a good balance though, with rolling flat and hill country. So we need a high performance sheep, but that can handle some hard going. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with what they're doing. Getting good lambing percentages, been in the late 150s to 160 for the last 3 years consistently. But just trying to work on lamb growth rate is my next big challenge and opportunity that I've identified. And so we've got some plans in place to try and really kick that into gear so we get higher weaning weights.
Make sure you tune in a couple of weeks' time. It's just after we visited Dan, we popped around to see his neighbour, who has some very cool drone technology. Well, that's all for this episode of Rural New Zealand. Tune in next week. We're in Havelock to meet one of the winners of the South Island Farmer of the Year. We travel south to check out a new toy at the Rangitada diversion race. We're wine tasting at Lawson's Dry Hills. And we're in Methven making scones. Do remember, guys, if you want to see what we're up to on our travels, you can like us on Facebook, just search Rural NZ. Well, that's all for now. We'll see you next time.